Hello, my peeps. It's Tracy here. Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, friendly neighborhood paper pusher. I was trying to fix my this little like box I'm in because it was square and it was really big. And so I called my IT department and tried to make it used to be a circle and I tried to get it back to being in a circle. So he told me how. So I changed it back to a circle, but somehow I have a circle in a square, so it's still cutting off part. And I got rid of the square, but anyways, technology. um, my day got all kerfuffled this morning and I was running behind, so I'm racing to go here. I didn't quite get as much stuff prepped and finished as I wanted, so we're just going to wing it for some of it. But I did manage to get one card done. So this is what we'll be making later. Pop-up pillar card. Pop-up pillar card by, I forget the lady's name, the lovely Lynn Dutton. Her card looked nothing like this, other than the fold itself, but I like all things nautical, and I was playing with my new stuff. So this is the front of the card, and then when it opens, ooh, pop-up pillar. And if you sit it, I was trying to center my sentiment. So if you sit it, if you sit it at a slight angle, you could read the front and the back at the same time. And it stands up and it looks like this when it's open. Isn't that cool? And I knew something was missing, and as I was waiting for the camera, I think I figured it out. So we might make one more stamp on that card, but then we're going to make another one, maybe two. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I recapped all this stuff in my newsletter, so I'm going to go rather quickly through the updates, just so we can get to the fun stuff of playing. But I still get all giddy and excited when new stuff comes out. And holy cow, did new stuff come out today! So if you did I post this on Facebook? Yes, I did. Yesterday I did. And then this is in my newsletter. So yeah, today, the annual catalog went live. Ta-da! The online exclusives, which there's no fancy graphic, but I can tell you, if you really want it, I did the open house already, so I have the stuff there. I bought most of what was on the online exclusives that came out this time. So I had most of it, and the stuff I didn't buy, I borrowed some stuff from my friend. So I think we had just about everything showing from what was on the online exclusives when I did my little catalog launch, their holiday catalog launch at the beginning of April. Middle of April. I can now open the catalog, which I will in a minute to show you something else later. But it went live. 2 new kits are live. I'll show you pictures of those in a second. So much stuff went live. There's a smoking good deal. It was a big day, so I had to write all that stuff down. Oh, and you should all be working hard. So if you have mothers to celebrate Mother's Day with on Sunday, you should. This is a sketch challenge I put out. This was I got this one from Mary Fish. Stampin' Pretty. I think her thing is called Stampin' Pretty. And I was just like, I love sketch challenges, and I'm like, I have so much stuff going on, my brain wouldn't slow down long enough to think of something, and I'm like, I'm just gonna find a sketch. So I just kind of flipped through a bunch of sketches, found this one, and thought, oh, I could do this set and this set and this set, and then I was off and running. So this looks like it's going to be a fun sketch challenge. If anybody wants to join me, make your cards. I'll post mine on Friday. You can add to the post. We can all share. Great fun. One of the other things that I had said in my newsletter, and I think I sort of said it last week, but I think I missed part of it, is the cloud cover ink pad. So when the new ink colors come out, usually there's 5 of these like, big ink pads. I have been Secret Sea. Ooh, I like Secret Sea. Secret Sea. Color of my shirt. That wasn't planned. I just happen to really love navy, and I have lots of navy things. But it's a deeper, darker navy than the Night of Navy, which I also love, which is what I used for the card today. So yeah. It's just such a lovely color. Anyways. So normally we get these big ink pads, which are foam, and they're phenomenal. But whatever, cloud covers have its own little reaction, doesn't like the foam. So they're not going to sell these. They're going to sell them to demonstrators. I, as a demonstrator, am not going to buy one because I'm going to do what I'm telling you guys to do, because why wouldn't I? I could take my chances with it. But I didn't. I ordered my stuff at midnight last night, and I didn't order one of the cloud cover ones. They're while they last. Some are going to be just fine. Some are going to dry weird. Some are going to dry different, but not weird. Like, it's whatever it is. But I'm going to use the easy way to go. So this is what I told you. And see, now that I can open the catalog and show you inside, this is for later. Stampin' Up sells Stampin' spots, right? So you can get a package of 5 uninked ones. And these, I looked them up, but now I forgot. $13.75 plus shipping and tax, I think is what they are. And you just get these uninked spots. They also have little collections of Stampin' spots. They used to be able to get every color. You used to be able to just buy a Stampin' spot. Then they stopped having those. The spots are in all the kits, and at some point, I'm sure there'll be a cloud cover one in one of the kits somewhere along the way. There's usually seems to be all the in colors eventually. And then a couple catalogs ago, they started making different collections of them, and they change each catalog. So this catalog has 2 of them in it. Well, here's a cloud cover one in this collection. Now I have all of this. I have stamp spots, and stamp spots have so many useful uses. Useful uses. That's good. There's so many cool ways you can use a Stampin' spot. And I have most of the colors, but I buy the uninked ones in case I don't have one. Because then, and this is not the right one because I only ordered it at midnight last night. But then we have our little refills, and you just, with the refill, you just ink this up, and it works like a charm. And for certain colors, like Blackberry Bliss is one of them, Cherry Cobbler, reds and purples, the deep reds and purples, for some reason. Sometimes those ink pads can get a little wonky. Mossy Meadow, that's another one. Some of those I've got tired of fighting with my ink pad on it, and I just have spots of them, and I use the little spot, and then if I need to, I just re-ink it. So these things are awesome. So that's what I'm going to say. If you don't necessarily need 5 of them, and you want just one of them, just let me know to order it, and I will order you like your own individual bottle of cloud cover ink, and I will give you one of these Stampin' spots that I have for free, and you just ink it up. And I think next week I might show you some of the fun things you can do with a Stampin' spot. Maybe that's what I'll do on Tuesday. I'm going to write that down because I always have these great ideas as I'm talking and then forget. Tuesday, fun with spots. I'm going to write because there's cool techniques you could do with them. Plus, if you still have a Stamparatus from before or any kind of stamp positioning tool, they are slick as can be, and the spots are the way to go with those. I opened this up for a reason. Anyways, the spots have a felt base instead of a foam base, and there's no reaction with the felt. It's just the foam. So the spots are just fine. So you will be able to buy these. Sorry, I distracted myself there and never finished what I was saying. So you'll be able to buy the spots, or you can get a spots. See, and they come out to $8.66. That includes the shipping and tax. That is just the cost of the refill. I will throw this in. This has to be for local. You have to be porch pickup, or we meet somewhere along the way, because I'm not mailing little bottles of ink. The starter kit special. Always a good deal to get the starter kit. Right now, it's the best. This might be the best one I've seen. $220. That's $85 extra stuff you get to order. $135, no shipping, no tax. The no shipping and no tax saves you 30 or 40 bucks. It's a huge amount of money for $1.35, $135. It's awesome. If you have questions, if you're worried, there's no strings attached. You can just get it, get all your good stuff, turn around and become a customer again, never order, never do anything. You can get it and get a wicked good deal, and then just order your own stuff at a Demonstrator discount, 20% off. And I will show you how to do that. Or you can decide to have a business, and your business can be a little business, a big business, a medium business. You can do whatever you want. It really is just you decide, but it's a super good way to get a lot of craft supplies for cheap. So there's that. I mentioned this at the catalog launch too, the in-person one, and then I don't know if I've mentioned it since. There is a stamp set in the catalog. It is on page 89, and it is called, whoops, I'm trying a different setup this time, and I'm trying to not have all my papers go flying on the floor. It is called The Right Words. It is on, sorry, I'm distracted by the hair there. It is on page 89 of the catalog. It's a fantastic stamp set. Look at that. It's got all sorts of inside outside ones, which is not what they're called, but like this one says happy birthday, and then on the inside, to someone we're celebrating a single day, thinking of you a lot, right? So they're like, you can stamp on the outside, then there's an inside sentiment. So this set, The Right Words, happens to be the one that they are offering in Spanish. And in Spanish, it's called Quiero que sepas. And Feliz Cumpleaños is happy birthday. I figured out what some of them were. Celebrando especial. Celebrating someone special, I think that says. I don't know if they are exactly direct translations to what the other ones are. They're more of a translate the same idea, but then make sure that it's like the culturally appropriate thing that they would say. versus, right, because each different language has little idioms and things they say. So but like this one is always in our hearts, always in our memories, or something like that is what this says. But I would imagine in Spanish it's actually said more eloquently than that. Anyways, that's what it's called. Quiero que sepas. Let's see, upcoming events. We have Kit Together at the end of the month on the 31st. That is a Saturday morning. These things are lots of fun. You get a delicious snack, plus you get to make some cards. And I have got so many good sets because we didn't do the last couple. I have got all of these. Like I've got the Daisy kit from March which is amazing. The Gates. Oh, I can't remember what the Gate kit is called. These cards are phenomenal. Plus a few more. Like I think I have 6 or 8 brand new kits that are open and ready for playing that we're going to do on this. I do need to know, this is usually you would I would give it to the Monday right before, but it's the long weekend. So I'm trying to think what day of the week this is. The 23rd. I think the 23rd might be the Thursday before, the Friday before the long weekend. I need to know if anybody's coming, so that I can get everything ready and do the stuff. There's still lots of prep for me to do, and I don't like to do it if nobody's coming. This is rapidly approaching. This is about just a little over a month away is our retired product sale. If you want a reminder the week before, this is on a Saturday. If you want a reminder the week before, let me know, because then I will message you the week before to remind you it's coming up. If you're a customer of mine, let me know if you haven't got your VIP pass yet. I've been passing them out with catalogs and stuff, and I will get one of those to you. It's me and 6 other demonstrators. Tons of stuff, lots of different variety and selection. Demonstrators from different time frames. People sell different stuff. Some people hoard everything. Some people sell everything. There's deals to be had coming up. This is our 4th annual. It is always busy, always a hit. Oh, I printed the wrong one off. I made a new one of these. And in the corner, you'll see it. It's in my newsletter. I forgot to print it for here. Over 50% sold out. So yeah, we won't even know the first week of June. We'll know what the products are and everything. But this is such a good time, and we have such a loyal, lovely group of ladies that come to this every time. And the one gentleman who's come before a couple times. And so a lot of people have just bought the thing knowing that it's always good. If I use it to myself. So yeah, we'll have more details on this stuff, but in order to be entered in the early bird draw, you have to have registered and paid by the 6th. All the information about any extras or add-ons, or if you want to upgrade from the basic registration on, that'll all be ready the first week of June. But right now, the in-person event is already half sold out. We do have the option where you can order all the same stuff, but you can pick it up either in Morinville or in Edmonton, one of the 2 of our places. Or it can be mailed out to you in Canada. So we have lots of options if you can't make this weekend or do this, but you still want to play. Lots of options. Well, let me know. I've posted the links numerous times. Okay, so these are the 2 new kits I ordered. Oh my goodness, are they ever nice. Beautiful blues. And the sentiments say, wishing you comfort, sending love, and you're in my thoughts. These are such pretty cards. I love blues. Night of Navy for the ink spot. Loving it. So yeah, you'll be able to see this maybe next week. Would it get here that fast? It's possible. I ordered them. And then the other one, I'm looking forward to seeing this one too. This one is a no stamping kit. So you got the sentiments in the 4 languages. These are note card size. And there's 8 little note cards with all sorts of different options for what they say. And a cool little case to keep them in. And note cards are mailable, at least in Canada. They're just the right size. They're like pretty much the minimum, but they're the right size that you can actually put a stamp on them and mail them. Let me see. Saturday, I want to say, is the 10th. Is Sunday the 11th? Yes, Saturday's the 10th. So that's the last day if you want to subscribe or tell me to order you one of Mountain Majesties for Paper Pumpkin. And this was for the dies. The dies are great. Those are still available. So there you go. There's our updates. 15 minutes. That's what I was trying for. 15 minutes or less. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. Say hi in the comments. Tell me where you're from. I'd love to know all those great things. I get people that watch, but I don't get a lot of people that comment. So I would love it if you would comment. I'm getting better at being able to actually do something and pay attention to the comments. I wasn't when I first started. It was like too many things at once. But I'm getting a little better. I'm like 4 years in on this stuff, I think. And I'm finding it a little easier to. I could always multitask. It was just somehow lives were something different. But anyways, yeah. So this is the card we're going to make. This is, and now because it's standing up quite nicely. And like I said, it did. I didn't know if I should put this sentiment off to the side, but I wanted the sentiment to be covered when it was closed. So I would have only been able to put it over like this much more. I'm using my finger as a marker, but I couldn't decide. But if you put your card like this, then it works perfectly, and I can still have it in the middle. Oh, and I put a thing on the back. It's upside down. I put a thing on the back so you have somewhere to write if you want. Not that you couldn't write here, but it kind of got a vibe going when you set it like this and you see the scenery part. Just a minute. My phone has all of a sudden decided it's going to ring right in the middle. There we go. The call is coming from Alberta. The province is calling me right now. So yeah, I decided though that something needed. This was my problem with this card. As I found this awesome paper, which is in the otter paper, and because it looks like waves, right? But I had this whole thing with clouds and birds, and then I thought, but now it looks like the clouds, but it also kind of looks like sky. So I ended up putting, because if you're looking at the right angle, the clouds and the birds could have a water behind them, I think. Maybe not the clouds, the birds for sure. Anyways, it's what I went with. And so now it's more of a, but I decided something needed to be here on the bottom, right? And so when this is closed, this kind of helps with this going on the bottom. But when you open it, the bottom is rather blank. Well, what I'm thinking I need to do, and because this is how I roll, do I stamp in very dark color that you have to be very precise with after a card is completely made and glued together? Well, sure I do. Why not live on the edge? But I'm thinking what I need to do is put this long line of waves on it. So we'll see. I'm going to keep staring at it, and then we'll decide if I'm going to do that afterwards or not. In the meantime, I'm going to show you how to make one. I'm going with blue. I'm going with blue for blue sky, is my theory. So in the end, what you're going to need is a regular card base or half a sheet of cardstock. We're going to make one little trim and then score this. You need a scrap piece of paper. So this is 2 3/4. Nope, just a minute. You need a square. You don't need a scrap. You need a square, but we're going to cut this. Mine is just a piece, which I will eventually cut to 2 3/4. I just think that was wrong. 3.5 is the inside piece. 2 3/4 by 4 to make this little. I'm going to put this here for now. To make this little panel. And then this can be DSP, like on this card it's DSP, but you could also, you need a piece for the inside that is 3.5 by 5 1/4. And then you need a piece to go on here that is 2.5 by 3 3/4. I will have all the measurements and the score and everything afterwards, but and one of the cards I am going to make using white, and I'm going to stamp on it. I just haven't 100% figured out what it is yet because I did not have enough time to play today. This card, however, and I might have to change the color of the base. I'm going to try it with, you know what the problem is? Yeah. I think I might do it on white instead. I was going to do it like blue so it looked like a sky background. But I have changed my mind because I'm going to use some of this flowery paper that I love. And I'm going to put, instead of putting a square on the front, I want to make one of them that just has a shape on the front because I'm curious to see how it works. And we're gonna learn it together as I go. So, but I realize now if I can't use that color blue because there's very little blue in this paper. So I love this. Absolutely love this green pattern. Oh, the other thing you need, you need I'm so distracted by myself. I really should have everything 100% decided and prepped ahead of time. But you know what? This is my process. This is how I craft when I'm crafting. And you just get to see it live. Lucky you. You also need 2 strips of DSP. These ones are 1 1/4. Pretty sure. Looking on the cheat sheet that I have, trying to find my thing. 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. And there's one here, and there's one on the inside. And you kind of see it when it's open. You can see it. You don't really see this one, but it's a small amount of DSP. So you want something that sort of coordinates together. I was debating whether there should be something here, which is what made me think, like I have these pieces. This is taller. I think you could put a strip of paper here if you wanted to, if you wanted like a little bit of contrast here. I also think because this is a 1/2 inch wide, that you could get like the 3/8 inch ribbon, which we have a ton of ribbon that is 3/8 of an inch, and you could just put a chunk of ribbon there, right? Because it's a perfect width to just throw. So who knows what we'll try by the time we're done. Ooh, see though, this is what happens when I see things. Part of me, I love this paper too, this black and white one. Oh my goodness, look at the blue paper though. You know what? I'm going with this one. I love this paper. So this paper is blue, and I'm going to put a black square on it. I have all these pieces from, I made so many cards with this mixed media suite because I love it. But I have scraps and chunks and pieces. Oh, look at that. So here's what I'm going to do. See, I like to just wing it and decide as I go. Pieces of paper everywhere. It's my little piece of paper for stamping. I'll just throw that off there. So what I've decided now is I'm going to put this on the back part. I'm going to put strips of these on the two sides of the thing. And I am going to put these leftover pieces that I have from something else, which I will have to then very quickly color one of. I'm going to put this. And instead of putting a square, I'm going to put this. So it goes like this. Why does that look super thick? I have two of them there. Okay, so I realize now that that was kind of mean of me to do that. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back a step. That's what one of the cards is going to look like. But I probably should show you the way the easy way first, shouldn't I? No, you know what? It's the same system. You're going to figure it out. The third one I make, I'll go back to putting a square on. Sorry. I'll just keep you guessing what's going on. Okay, so you need your trimmer to start with. This out of the way, move all my little bits and pieces out of the way. I still have all the dirty stamps from before. I didn't have time to clean them yet. There we go. So this is our standard card base. And it currently is scored in half. So this would normally be 8.5 by 5.5. Oops, pushed up too far. What we need is 8.25 by 5.5. So, and I double checked the measurements and it works. So if you take what is going to be the front of the card, in case it matters, in case you're using some kind of card base where it actually matters, we just want to trim 1/4 inch off of this. For now, it's 8.25, and I think that's just giving us the right dimension, but it's also having a little bit less too, like the bulk of it, right? But we want this to fold into our tower. So if this was too long, we'd have to make like one more score cut or something, or it wouldn't really work to make our equal tower. Okay. So I'm going to turn it upside down now because my 4 is already scored on here. If you just had a half a sheet of paper, it wouldn't matter where you started, but my 4 line is already scored. So we're going to do this. So I'm going to put this in. Let's get my ink pads are in the way now. And I am going to score. And normally on a 1/2 inch, I would be scoring on that side, but in this case, I'm moving. I'm going to score at a 1/2 inch. I'm going to score at 2 inches. I'm going to score at 2.5 inches. And if it's not already scored, boom, go to 4 and score at 4. Sorry, I didn't realize that was out of screenshot there. Not that you can read the numbers anyway. Okay, so that is the base of our card. Because I have this out now, I'm going to cut these other pieces. So this is my background piece. So I want this to be 3.5. Oh, it is just over 3.5. Look at the luck there. Oh, so I'm going to keep this little piece of, see this little dude? I'm going to keep this little piece of paper, which is a 1/4 inch, which is a little thinner, but I might still use it. I'm going to keep that one. So 3.5 by 5.25. Oh, look at this. This thing is like just bigger than what I needed. It was just bigger than what was left. So on a normal card, if you were doing this, this would be 4 by 5.25. And I think if you already had a piece cut that you wanted to use, you could, because this is just going to go over top of it. So instead of having, since I drop everything, instead of having, I can't quite point it out, this little bit of a reveal on this side, like there's the same border, like native navy border that's on these sides, there is that same reveal going down the inside here. But if you used a regular base that you already had cut, it would just, your base would tuck right in, so you wouldn't have this line right here. I don't think it matters one way or the other, honestly. If you already had it cut, use the one. In my case, it wasn't already cut, so it doesn't matter. Because when you put this one on, you'll see that it's not going all the way over, because that's where your tower is going to be, right? So that's that one. And then, I'll move this out of the way for a second. And then I need, these ones need to be 1.25 inches. Oh, see this one. This is going to be the better one because it's actually 1/2 inch wide. This one is going to be 1.25 inches. I'm going to save this piece too, because this one might actually be the one that works better. I do keep a lot of little scraps, but there's a limit, right? Unless I'm specifically making something. And I've seen cards made with scraps this big. I just don't have the patience for gluing this many little pieces on. I just don't. So normally those, anything like too small, it goes. 1/2 inch strips, I keep 1/2 inch strips if I can stamp a sentiment on them, because 1/2 inch strip is one of the most common sizes for sentiments. Point in order there. Okay, so this is 1.25 by 5.25. And I need to cut another one, 1.25. 1.25. That was just, I could tell it was just shy of what I needed. It was so close to being the right size to just cut it in half, but I could tell it wasn't. I'm good with measurements and being able to like look at something and tell you where the center point of it is. I don't know. Is that a useful habit, a skill? Sometimes. Okay. So we've got all our pieces cut and scored. Now, again, if you were making this card, which we'll make afterwards, you'd need to cut this square piece, but I'm going to try it with one of these circles instead. So I didn't cut a piece for the front. Okay, here's what we want to do. So now we're going to fold all our score lines. And at this point, we're just going to fold them with our thumb. Right? We're just going to give them a rough fold. Okay. These pieces, once you fold them all, they all just fold like this into our tower, and they make our tower. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick our tower down just on the inside of this score line, is where this is going to glue down. And then once it's glued down, we're going to squish it forward like this. So before I find that when you're doing cards like this, I got to move all my bits and pieces out of the way here because they're in my way. When you're doing a card like this, you don't want to burnish too hard until you get the fold mechanism and the gluing part, because you want to make sure that it folds the way you want to and that you're not forcing it once it's glued, because then you'll just put pressure on the glue and it'll rip easier. So this is how I want this to go flat. So I'm going to go, now that I've got this done, and now I'm going to give this a burnish. And then I'm going to fold it the way it's supposed to go back. And the same thing, I need this piece here needs to be, see right now, you can't really see. Right now when I'm trying to fold it, I'm trying to fold it so that it's going to lay flat going this direction without this edge right here crossing the score line, right? So I want this to stay like this. So I got to make sure before, like I said, before I glue it, because the thing with the score lines is there's a bit of give in your score line, right? And it can go 1/4 inch one way or the other. And then I'm gonna burnish this one down this way. And I'm gonna fold it back the other way I had it. Yep, so everything's good. And then we just have this one other little fold that you wanna just give that a little burnish. So now I have, and I'm still gonna be careful when I glue this, but now I have it scored where I want to. Now I was so excited to put this together when I made the first one that I instantly put this piece on and then tried to put everything else and stamp everything behind with this piece stuck to the front. Yes, it's doable. Is it the best way to do it? No, it is not. I would not recommend it, is what I'm saying. So before we put all the other pieces on, we're actually going to, this card goes together quite quickly. You'll love how fast it actually goes. Let me do this. So we are going to, I am going to use white glue for the one part in the middle, the part that holds the tower closed. But for my little papers, I'm just gonna go the quick way and use my seal. So like I said, this one, it's not going to go all the way to the edge. So we're going to put this one. We're going to make sure, I'll move my hand out of the way. We're going to, geez, I love this paper, man. We're going to make sure, and just in case you're watching, my card base is crooked. So if it looks crooked to you, it's not to me. And we are going to make an even border on the 3 sides that we can see. There we go. It should give you your 1/8. Now this little piece here, we don't need to put paper there because this is going to go. And then now you can see where my 1/8 reveal is. Right. So like I said, if you had a full standard size piece that was another, what did I say this one was? 3.5. The other ones would be 4. So if you had another base that was already 1/2 inch longer, it would just tuck underneath where the tower goes. This one I can still see this part. And then out of the way. The little bit of white glue I'm doing, I'm not going to need that for this. And so then I'm going to put the black pieces on the inside. I was going to use all my new stamp sets that I got, like off my pre-order and things that you guys can now get. But I'm just having so much fun with this stuff. And some of them I'm using for my Mission Monday cards because I've already decided what I'm doing with some of them. So you'll see lots of new stuff this week. I've been using some of it moving forward because, you know, I just can't not. I have new things to play with. I got to play. But I was also trying not to rub in the fact that I could get it and you couldn't. Although you could always get it. You can always get the starter kit because that's one of the great perks of being a demo is that you don't have to wait for things. Case in point, I ordered this morning when I ordered something that's coming out in the Christmas catalog or the holiday catalog that comes out in September for customers. Demonstrators will be able to order in, is it the end of July or beginning of August? It's right around there that we'll be able to order. But because I've registered for a demo event in June, I got to order it last night and it is stellar. And it is the one that we will be using for our holiday head start class in September. Look at this paper. I love this paper. Okay, so this is how our tower is going to go now, right? We have our nice little black on the inside and black there. And I think because I have it and because I can, I think, so I'm trying to see if those are flowers are upside down or not. Where did I cut this off of? The strip is too small. Oh, there we go. The strip is too small, but if I match it back to where I trimmed it off, I can tell that this is the right way up. But I think I want to put a little strip on here. I did not trim this to 5.5, however. And even though it is a tiny little piece, I'm still going to get this out so I get it the right size that I want without just eyeballing it. That's my scoring blade. That's not going to help me. So yeah, how small of a scrap do you save? No, just kidding. I would never save that small of a scrap. I have lots of DSP. I rarely run out of DSP. I can always order more. But yeah, I would have so much clutter I wouldn't be able to work if I kept every tiny little piece. Is this the exact width of this? It is just about. It's not quite though. But I feel like if I cut it, oh here, this one's the smaller one. This is, if I was keeping the same spacing, it would actually be this one. But this one looks way too skinny on here. So even though the spacing is not exactly the same, I am going with this one. We're having a lovely day out. It is a tad windy out, and unfortunately, there are fires burning. There is a fire burning just on the edge of Edmonton, right by one of the main commuter roads, which apparently is not helping the traffic scenario any. There's fires burning north of town, east of town. There's a big fire this weekend that unfortunately burnt down an entire farm, part of which was historic, which I just, fires are bad and I hate when anything burns, but I hate when something historic burns because you can't just build it back the way it was. Because it's got all that life and history and age in it. Look at that. So then I'm going to put this on, and then I'm going to put this on. And I realize now that I've done this, that I'm going to actually have to have a label as well, because you're not going to be able to see anything if I stamp directly on there. Yeah, I totally forgot to tell you. You need some labels but because of course I had nothing planned for what I was even going to say on this card. I still don't. Okay, so here's what we want to do now. We want to find our white glue. We're going to put, don't put so much that it's oozing everywhere, but you want to make sure you have enough that it's going to hold. Oops, mine got stuck and did exactly what I said not to, oozed everywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to use the tip to spread this out a bit here because I have way too much where I don't want it. What I was going to say before it decided to burp out all over is I usually just make a square, right? So I get close enough to the edge, not super close. There's a chunk in there. We'll get rid of that. Show you one here. So I usually make just a pretty fine line square. This, like I said, this one I just tried to spread out a bit because it burped everywhere. But and I find that's enough because it will squish it both ways and cover in without getting too close to the edge. This one here, here's another use for scraps. I'm actually just gonna smooth some of that out so it doesn't come lopping out the edge. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold this in. Here, maybe I'll do it this way. You might be able to see better. Don't stick your fingers in the glue. We're going to fold this in so it's just before the score line, right? And then very carefully, because you don't want to push the glue everywhere, we're going to fold it down because this is one way it has to fold. We're going to fold it up. We're going to fold it back the other way and make sure it goes flat. So now we know the glue isn't. Now I'm going to give it a good rub because the glue is just under this edge. Right, we'll let it sit for a second, but you don't want to let the glue set too much before you make sure you can fold it the ways you need to. And that's why we pre-folded it and pre-scored it where we wanted it to go before we put the glue on. Now the white glue dries fairly quickly, but let's try not to manhandle it too much before then. Okay, so there's our card. And you know what? And the simple fact that this piece was cut directly off of this one, so the pattern actually exactly matches, is just awesome. But I like the look of this. I mean, I don't mind the way this looks with the blue. Like this blue piece here. I don't mind that at all because it works because you can see all the blue boundary, but I like the look of this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use this instead of putting a square with a layer. We're going to put this on. It's just a matter of deciding where. So what I found with the other one, I'm going to color this later. This is just to space it out. I just got to make sure that I don't want to put my thing up here where this is going off the card. It'll never fit in an envelope. I got to make sure everything is contained within top to bottom. So I can center this and I can put my fun little square there. And then this is not the right color. But let's pretend I'm making this into a birthday card. I know I have this in the right color. This just doesn't have to be it. Because I do tend to, when I stamp something, I do tend to stamp a lot of things with it. So I'm going to do something like this, right? I'm going to put this so that when it's closed, it looks like this. So you just want to make sure that everything is good. That because this, if you have this, if I decided I wanted this to go here, I got the same problem. I'm not going to get it in an envelope. So before you glue stuff down, especially if you're me and you're deciding as you go, yeah, just figure out, I figured that this is going to go here. So that's okay. I'll just make sure when I put it on that the card is closed, so I put it in the right spot. So everything's going to work. So I'm going to take this off because that's last. So this is where I want this to go. So I'm going like this with my fingers. See these two fingers here? I'm going to pull this out of the middle because I know that I want adhesive for my, and you can use the white or you can use seal. But I know that I want to put my thing there. And I'm using my fingers as my outer boundaries so that I don't end up with glue everywhere I don't want, because then I'll glue my card to the inside of my envelope. But now I know because my adhesive stops there and there, which is perfect because this is where I wanted to put my thing. Now, I have this offset. I don't know. I got my finger in the way so you can't actually tell. My rectangle is not lined up. I'm I'm kind of maybe a third of the way over, because when it folds, I want it centered. The first thing you see. Now, that was just my personal choice. I don't know if it matters. I didn't actually even look close enough at the sample card. The sample card is lovely, by the way. I didn't even look close enough at it to decide if it mattered, if that's how she did it. But I think with this one, I also like things offset. So it would be fine for when you open it to have it offset, which is what I'm doing with this. I'm trying to center it, but I keep knocking it and moving it. So I've centered it. I've centered it top to bottom, and I've offset it this way, right? So now when I open it, it's still going to be cool, right? This is going to be on top of it. I just didn't color it yet. And now I have room for whatever it is I'm going to put here. But when I close it, the first thing people, when they see this, when they first open it, this is what they're going to see. But it still looks, it looks intentional, right? It doesn't look like I screwed it up. So I think it's your choice whether you center, like whether you have it so this is centered, whatever panel or whatever you have in the middle. I think that's just your personal choice. Now with this one, I'm going to color. What time do we have? Oh, we have time still. And I'm going to do, yeah, I think I will do a birthday sentiment. You probably can't tell on the camera, but this is early espresso and everything else on this card is black, which is the reason why this is not actually going to work. I have this little thing on my desk and it all depends. Some of it is from cleaning. Some of it is from using. And it just needs to be put away. But I have bits and pieces and labels and things. Oh, I have a congratulations. See, this would work too. Again, wrong color. This is pecan pie. But I do know that I had some of those happy birthdays that were stamped in black. I also have like other labels. That one's too big. But the other thing I'm looking for as I dig through here, besides, see when I told you 1/2 inch strips, I have like an entire pile of 1/2 inch strips because they make great sentiments. The other thing I'm looking for though, and I don't know if everyone's small enough in here, we have all these great new labels that came with textured notes, I want to say they're called. I don't think I have one that's the right size though. No. Those are my bits and pieces from making the sailboat card. No, I think I'm just going to have to. I also have my entire tin of different size strips of paper we'll use instead. I do believe though that I want this when it closes like this. I'm going to put a couple of embellishments on this one just to give it a little zing. So my happy birthday is going to go here. And I'm going to have some embellishments on the, oh, I don't know, who knows? Again, it's not like I thought it up. But then when it's open, I don't want this to just have embellishments. I want it to have like some kind of an inside sentiment. So I'm going to use another piece of just white cardstock. And this one's die cut with like little stitched edges. And I'm going to put this, out of the way right now. I'm going to put this so that when this closes, you don't see it. It's got to go just a little bit more. That's the advantage to whatever's bigger in the front, but I think it's going to work. Okay, so mine's going to go there. So right now I can tell that I just need to be like 3/4 of an inch from the edge. So I'm going to look for a sentiment that I can put there. So when this is open, you're going to see happy birthday. You're going to see this, whatever's here, and you're going to see the little embellishments. So I'm just going to do this in black because it seems to be the theme of the day. Okay. See, we can make numerous cards in one day. I don't have to plan these things out ahead of time. One More Year is the name of the set. There we go. That's where my happy birthday came from. And one moment. Rascal. Rascal, there's nothing there. Rascal. Out. Out. Oh, I don't know if my mute worked or not. I don't know if well, with any luck, and I tried to mute that so you didn't have to listen to the dog bark. With any luck, it worked. If not, sorry. Because not only did you have to listen to the dog bark, you had to listen to me yell at him to be quiet. Okay, so One More Year is where the happy birthday came from. Love the happy birthday. And I'm pretty sure hexagon, heartfelt hexagon is the one I want. Yes, it is. because I think this one is retiring, which is unfortunate. I think if I'm not mistaken, the punch is staying, but the stamp set's retiring. But I got to double check. I love this one. Oh, look at that! There, it fits perfectly. Why do I love this one? Because there's a stamp in it that says, "I hope your day is filled with joy." And I just love that sentiment. And that sentiment works for more than just a birthday. That's just any day. Wedding day, graduation day, birthday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, any day. I hope your day is filled with joy. So that's what I'm going to put on this piece. And I'm going to stamp these first. I hope your day is filled with joy. And I will scratch pad over there. Move that one out of the way. And then, and I've mentioned this before, I know for some people it's sacrilege, but this stamp says happy birthday, now back to me. And I actually cut off, see I have purple ones in here too. I'm going to say those are the berry burst is what color those are. So I love this happy birthday font, and I love the size of it and everything. I just did not like the now back to me part. So I cut my stamp and I cut it off. I cut it like this, and then I just went with my little craft knife, very sharp craft knife, and I trimmed it all down so that the part that was really close to what I wanted was gone. So now I use this all the time, but now I can just go, in case you're looking at the stamp and going, how did you do that? I don't have to mask anything off because I cut the part off I didn't want, because I was never going to stamp anything that said now back to me. But see, and this is why I always have spare pieces, because I have this entire strip out, and because I have this stamp out. See, I stamped 3 of them. That's why I always have extras, because the next time I want to just throw a happy birthday on something, I can. And that way, if I've done one crooked or something else, I have time. And I always put lots of space in between, because at this point, I honestly don't really know how I'm going to end it. Okay, am I going to put flag ends on it? I think I am. I also think I'm going to trim this down just slightly. This happy birthday is a little bit bigger than that's too small. It's a little bit bigger than a 1/2 inch strip, but the 3/4 inch strip seems like it's just a bit too wide. So I don't even know if this is a specific. I'm just eyeballing. This little cutter that Stampin' Up had before, and I'm sorry to tease you with because they don't sell it anymore, is the handiest thing ever. There, just trimmed off a little bit, and now I like the way it looks better. So I think what I'm going to do, though, because this is a pretty fleur, my little scissor charm is in the middle of my scissors. See, I like to cut things that just angle them too, but I think in this case I'm just going to flag into this. There's all sorts of tricks to flag ending. Eyeballing is one of them. Eyeball the thing. Unless you're really wonky, nobody ever notices anyways. Just what you want to try to do is make sure you cut far enough, because if you don't, you get a little fuzzy piece. And I've noticed that trying to get rid of the little fuzzy piece is the hardest part. I have slightly different angles, so I'm just going to give this one more little trim. I started watching NCIS. Oddly enough, I watched NCIS Origins, even though I hadn't seen the actual show NCIS. And the way the season ended, I was like, oh, I need to know what happened. And because it's Origins, right? It's the backstory. So then I decided, well, I'm going to watch the first episode of NCIS to see if I can, and I don't want to give any spoilers, so that's why I'm being vague, but I thought I'll just watch the end or the beginning of the season, because that might give me my answer that I want. It did not. I'm like 2 seasons deep now, but holy cow, it's such a good show. But I'll say Abby, her name's Abby, the forensic scientist thing in it is just a great character, but she uses the word hinky all the time, and I have a feeling that hinky is going to get into my vocabulary because It's a great word. I'm trying to figure out what color those flowers are on this DSP so I can color them this color. So I'm looking at the back and I'm thinking maybe they're Calypso Coral or Flirty Flamingo. I think they're actually Flirty Flamingo. Okay, it's really hard to tell. They did sort of a watercolor effect. So really it's what color do I want to make them? But I'm looking at the back, sorry, in case somebody's watching and didn't know this. On the back of the DSP, right here, it lists all the different colors in the DSP. That's how I know. I can also tell you that the other thing I was looking for that I turned around, Granny Apple Green. That's what color I need for my leaves. So I'm going to grab my Granny Apple Green. So when I roll over here, am I still in sight? Hi, Granny Apple Green. Flirty Flamingo, Calypso Coral. I'm going to go with Coral. Calypso Coral, Flirty Flamingo. And then I need another little something color here. What color blue is that? I'm going to make little blue flowers. That's what I like. I can read at that angle. How come I don't see a blue on here? Boho blue. I do. I just wasn't looking hard enough. Oh, boho blue. You guys, and I didn't look before I started today because I said I was running short on time. In colors. The new in colors are out. They're fantastic. Can't wait. I'm playing with them already. But the old in colors, the ones that are retiring, so boho blue. I need a yellow as well. Boho blue. All of a sudden I'm drawing a blank. Wild Wheat, Pebbled Path, Moody Mauve. I took them out already. I'm trying to see where I put them. Moody Mauve, Boho. Oh, and Copper Clay. Those are the 5 that retired. A lot of that stuff is already gone. Like it's already sold out. There's still some of it left, but the way that the way things work now, like before when the catalog retired, everything just automatically stopped. But the way the last chance products list works now is it stays on there until they sell out, or sometimes they'll refresh it and they might take it off there if it's been there for a while. So some of them are still there. A lot of them had sold out well before that because it's the first stuff that goes. But yeah, boho blue is such a loved color, like a well-loved color, that I don't think that stuff's going to stick around for very long. So I'm going to try to, I'll give you another little secret of what I did. We don't have journaling pens. Journaling pens are in the new one. I'm looking forward to it. When I color these flowers, and I will tell you, because you can do whatever you want. It's your card and your stamp set. You can do whatever you want. I'll bring this in a little closer. There we go. You see on these flowers, there's this big space between these 2 petals, and there's this big space between these 2 petals. No matter how many times I have colored these, and I have colored these a lot, I can't seem to not like stop, and I end up coloring in what should be white space. So what I decided last time is I just went in like this. And now they're petals. And now I don't have to stop. And now it looks intentional of why I colored there. And for me, and there's all sorts of different techniques. And there are some people who, oh my goodness, it's Mitsu, a couple British gentlemen that have a channel. And I think it's Jay that does the drawing class. And oh my goodness, are they talented. I will tell you though, you don't have to be super talented, as I will attest to, because blends are meant, if you're fast enough, blends are alcohol markers, and I absolutely love blends. They're meant to blend. So I will put, where I want to highlight, I will put the dark color, which is what I did first. And then I will just go down with my lighter color, and I go right over top of the dark, and it blends it right in. And if it doesn't blend it in enough to be like just with one pass, then I do a second pass. And it gives you the little darker shadow. Now you have to do this quickly, though. You can't do the dark, go get a coffee, come back, because it will have dried by then. It won't blend as well. But if you do it like on top of each other, like you're supposed to, then you get this blend. And like I said, the first pass is not quite doing it, but I can go back over. And then you can do that with, like, even just with a light, this is the light color. Even just with the light color, I can go back over and in places I've already been and make it a little darker, right? And so now I have, it doesn't show up as well on the camera as it does in person, but so now I have like this beautiful shading, if it would focus. Kind of hold it still, but still not focusing. Anyways, beautiful shading that was pretty much done for me, because that is the beauty of blends. They work so quickly. And with most of the stamps and Stampin' Up, like lots of them will already have the shadow marks where they would go. In this case, I'm just following along one line. And I'm not following right along the line because I find that it blends better if you're not right up against it. So I stopped a little bit back from the yellow and a little bit back from the edge. So when I color over with the light then goes to the line and it colors in. And as you could see by how fast I did it, I wasn't being like super, which is why I kept coloring in those other spaces. I wasn't being super careful. Like I try to follow lines or follow shading, but it's nature, man. Nature's just going to do what it wants. And that's how quickly you can color with these things. They're just, that one you can sort of see a little bit better on the shading. Okay. So these little flowers, because they're so small, it's going to be harder to do the shading. But I find with little things, who knew I was all of a sudden you're getting a coloring lesson that was not exactly how I planned. But I find with the littler ones, I'll put like something dark in the center and then just color over them with the light. And you still do get a bit of shading, but like these little flowers are so small. And this is, people always ask how you do different things. I find this is what works for me. I have both my, go back a little bit. I have both my markers in my hands and both of them, because these caps snap on really well. I'm going really fast now trying to get finished at that. So I just leave them loose in the caps in case I have to go back. Because sometimes once you've done the light and you'll think, you know what, that's not enough shading. And you'll take the other one back out and give it a bit more shading. But I find that I just keep both caps in my hand. I keep them, I have glue on my thing that I just stuck my finger in. And I just keep them in my hand so I can go back and forth and I just do one color at a time. And that's what I find the easiest. So I'm not picking them up and putting them down and putting the lids on. You don't want to keep the lids off for very long and you don't want to leave them just sitting exposed because the alcohol evaporates and they dry out. But, and then you can just snap them shut when you're done. But I find if I do it that way, because now I'm going to do the same thing. And I tend to use the narrower, which is the skinny line, with the dark color, and the wider with the light color. And I always do the dark first, so the dark's the first one, right? So in this case, like with this dark one, I'm just going to go, I can see the stems here. I'm just going to go color the stems dark, just solid dark. And I do love to color. I color a lot. I have adult coloring books and I have my own set of little pencil crayons for when I want to color. I find it incredibly relaxing. Now I know that not everybody does, but I love to. So I colored all the stems because I wasn't going to blend those. And then with the leaves, I tend to just put, I'll put maybe on the edge. These leaves are a little bit narrower, so I can't do too many colors without running into each other. So I just colored the line down the middle, which like I said, the stamp, it's right there. Colored that one. And then I'm just going over it with the light. Sorry, I think I got my hand in the way. That's just the way I hold my markers. There, now I have all the things colored, yes. And then I'm going to close that one. I'm going to quickly flip this over and use the light side. And if you use a fairly light hand, you can go like, these are thinner lines that so I don't want to do it with the brush end because that's too thick for me. And I'm really just going over top of the black, but I'm just not putting my marker down very hard so that I'm really just turning the black line into a green line, all these little tendrils that are coming off. And you can still see the black as much as you can see the green, but you can see enough green that now it looks more plant-like. Okay, those out of the way. We'll put them all back, but I realize we're about to go over time, so. Okay. I haven't decided where that is. Okay, so this one I decided I needed to be 3/4 of an inch from the edge when I did it the first time. So I'm going to put it 3/4 of an inch and I'm going to close it. And yes, I am correct. So before I put all the other things, and I'm just putting my fingers are making a little corner. It may not look like it, but they are. And I'm just going to put this down flat. And that just reminds me where I was. And then because I'm just using the seal, you could do it with the white glue up to a certain point too. So I'm laying it down, but I'm not squishing it. I'm just going to double check again. Yes, it's good. Now I'm going to squish it. But I also stamped the black ink and then let it dry so that I can rub my hand over the top of it and not have to worry. And with this guy, I'm going to stick him in the right in the middle. I flipped it over. I'm not actually putting the dimensionals there. I'm putting them on here. And I did just have a look, and it goes. I'm not going right up the side because it gets a little narrow there. So I want to kind of skew over, but I just found that by dry fitting it, just putting it on there before I closed it. I think I might have to put a little white bow on this too. Okay, so then I'm going to put this here. There we go, and that would be the vet calling. And then, yeah, so I was trying to decide. I have to make sure I have enough room. After I decided to color, I decided I'm going to try to tuck this underneath. Nope. So that's why I said about making sure it'll fit right. When I close this, I'm going past the edge, so I can't tuck it underneath. I am going to have to put it on top over here. So now it's just a matter of what do I want to cover up. Actually, if I go, oh, look at that. That's actually better. If I go down by the stem, that will work. So because this is a little bit daintier, that's not the right end on there. One thing I found with the Take Your Pick tool, there's all these interchangeable ends, but I found that they're quite useful. As long as you put the cap on the very sharp ends, you can use them without actually having them all in the holder. So I have like all these loose bits just sitting on my desk, and I find they work just as well. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to do that. So I'm going to close this, so I make sure that I keep my happy birthday inside of my card. There we go, happy birthday. And then it opens like that. I do need to find some embellishments, which I will do in a moment, and I will take the picture, and I will put I think I'm going to put a little I don't know if it's going to be white or black, a little bow on it too. And so you'll see like a little bit of dressing up on the final picture, but I'm going to keep it because it's already I've already gone past by 4 minutes. So there's our two cards. There's two different looks to it. I have all the pieces cut for another one because I did want to try, like I said, without cardstock, and I got this far on the other one. So you might see another sailboat card. I just hadn't, this wasn't the exact right size. It was just a sample. So I might have one or two of them more made by the time I post pictures, and I will post all the measurements. If you want to look her up, like I said, her name is Lynn Dunn. She has a different, her Stampin' Up thing is something different, but I don't remember what. Oh, there we go. Stamptasticdesigns.com. Stamptasticdesigns.com. Love this card. This card is so much fun. Folds flat, fits in, pops up. Going to be very cool standing on a desk or something. Love this card. All right. If you have any questions about any of the Tuesday stuff I told you, like I said, the annual catalog's live now. Online exclusives are live now. 2 new kits. If you want to get the cloud cover, if you want me to order you a cloud cover refill to go with the Stampin' spot so you can have your own little thing, let me know. You want to add to any kind of a group order, I'm putting a group order in on Friday. That way, if you're just ordering a few things, or if you just like the convenience of just ordering this way and picking up or meeting up, or if you're in town, I tend to just drop off. Let me know by Friday. The starter kit is a wicked deal. If you want to get $220 worth of supplies, plus some catalogs you can keep, use, give to your friends, do whatever. Plus a free paper pumpkin kit, at least in Canada. And in Alberta, all you pay is $135. There's no GST. There is no shipping. $135 for $220 plus worth. And you can pick whatever you want. Any of the new stuff, old stuff, whatever's currently available on the website is what you can put in your starter kit. If you have any questions or you need the link to join my team, you let me know. You want to know any of the details, or you're worried about commitments or whatever, what the minimums are once you do commit, whatever. If you buy a starter kit now, I can tell you we are January, February, March, April. I know it's sad. April, May, June, July, August, September. You will be a demonstrator till the end of September, even if you don't spend a single penny after you get the kit. And then in September, you'll get notified that you're in your pending month. And if you are at the end of September, then you'll have the month of October to like do your minimums to get caught up. So you can like stretch this out, but by getting the kit now, that means you will also be a demonstrator when the holiday catalog comes out and the pre-order for the holiday catalog. There's lots of benefits. Like I said, if you have questions or want to know, let me know. I will answer your questions for you. Otherwise, I will be back on Friday. I won't be back live, but I will post my pictures of my sketch challenge, which I buried with all sorts of other paper. So I'm not going to try to grab it. I will be back with my sketch challenge cards on Friday and lots of other things. If you are a mother, happy Mother's Day. If you are filling the role of a mother, if you are filling in for a mother, if you are the best friend of a mother and you support her, thank you all. It takes a village. Believe me, I know that. I hope you have a fabulous week. Be careful outside. Most fires right now are human caused. That means they're preventable. So please be careful and enjoy your week, and we will talk to you soon.